Hi, this is the video for Daf Kuf Het, page 108 of Masechet Ketubot. I am Joshua Kulp. We are doing Daf Shevui through the conservative yeshiva. And I wanted to explain a concept that comes up in a Mishnah in the second half of the Daf. And it's a concept we've encountered elsewhere. I may have explained it, I will admit, on another video, but I think it's a concept I always have to refresh myself about, so I figure it can't hurt for me to refresh you about it either. The concept is called modeh b'miktzat, somebody who offers a partial admission. So let me explain how this works. It also helps us understand the issue of an oath, how an oath functions according to halacha, which is a topic that comes up in throughout Ketubot and especially in this last chapter. So let's say I go to my friend Shimon, for instance, and I say, "Hey Shimon, you owe me $100," and I don't bring any other evidence. From the Torah, he doesn't have to take any type of oath. He can just say, "Sorry, Josh, I don't owe you any money," and he doesn't have to pay me anything because I have no evidence that he owes me money. The reason would be that he doesn't have to take an oath. Let's say a person is afraid of taking oaths. Maybe he might not want to take an oath because he might be afraid that he forgot. All right, I say to Shimon, "You owe me $100." Shimon says, "Look, I don't think I owe you $100, but what happens if I take an oath and I say I don't owe you $100, and it turns out I really do owe you $100, and I forgot." Now it turns out he broke an oath, and that's a serious crime, a crime against God, also a crime against me for not paying me back my $100. So therefore, so that the claimant can't intimidate other people to pay me when they don't owe me, I can't force him to take an oath. However, okay, if I go, "Shimon, you owe me $100," and he says, "Josh, I only owe you $50," okay, in which case Shimon, of course, has to pay me back the $50. He admitted that he owed me the $50, but he also has to take an oath on the other 50 that he does not owe me that 50. Okay, why does he have to take an oath now? Right? Remember when I told him he owed me 100 and he denied the whole thing, which is called kofer b'ikar, right? He denied kofer b'kol, not kofer b'ikar. That's a person who denies God. He's kofer b'kol. He denies owing the entire thing. He doesn't have to take any oath, but if he's modeh b'miktzat, if he admits to owing part of it, he does have to take an oath. And the reasoning is, we're afraid, maybe he says to himself, "Look, I know that I do owe Josh the whole $100. After all, he's admitting that something happened, some kind of transaction happened between the two of us." Maybe he might be saying to himself, "Look, I do owe Josh the $100. I don't really have the money to pay him right now. I'll tell him I owe him 50, and later on I'll pay back the other 50. Now, we don't want people doing that. It's a lie. Right? It's not fair to the claimant. If Shimon doesn't have $100 to pay me back right now, he can say, "Look, I only have $50. I admit I owe you the other 50, and I'll pay it back to you some other later time." But we don't want him to say is that he only owes 50 if it's not true. So therefore, he has to take an oath that he doesn't owe the other 50. Now, what our sugya really gets into is an interesting question. What does it mean to be modeh b'miktzat? What does it mean to admit part of a debt? If I say, for instance, comes up, if I say, "You owe me jugs of oil," and you admit to owing jugs, and you don't admit to owing oil, have you admitted to part of the debt? Or if I really just asked you for oil, and you're admitting that you owe me jugs, in which case there is nothing, the ta'ana, right? The claim is not at all synonymous. There's no gap. There's no overlap between the claim, which is oil, and the admission, which is jugs. So that's the kind of question that our sugya gets into. But I think it's worth having a solid background in what modeh b'miktzat really means.